Word of strange portents began to spread. Kansa's astrologers warned him that the child had survived and had been hidden among the cowherds. Kansa sent assassins, demons in disguise, to kill every infant in the land. It was the ancient world's version of a manhunt. And so Nanda, Krishna's foster father, made the decision to move. Vrindavan. Even today, this small town in Uttar Pradesh carries the weight of devotion that is almost impossible to describe to someone who hasn't been there. Every stone, every bend of the river, every ancient tree claimed by tradition at the site of some moment in Krishna's childhood. In the ancient world, it was simply a forest settlement beside the Yamuna. Lush, remote, full of peacocks and kadamba trees. The perfect place to raise a god in secret. But even before reaching Vrindavan, the child was already at work. Putna, a demoness sent by Kansa, disguised as a beautiful woman, came to nurse infant Krishna with her poison-laced milk. She expected a helpless baby. She found something else entirely. The infant Krishna suckled and did not just drink the milk. He drank her life force with it. Putna fell. Her disguise dissolved, her enormous demon form crashing to the earth. The cowherds found the baby lying calmly on her chest, laughing and laughing. He who kills by nursing and gives liberation even to the killer. Such is his mercy, that Putna attained the status of a divine mother. What followed in Vrindavan were the years that would be remembered for eternity. Not because of kings or wars or philosophy, those would come later, but because of butter, because of a flute, because of a boy who ran barefoot through the forests and made the universe itself stop and listen. Young Krishna was a thief, an unapologetic, irresistible thief of butter. The Gopas, the cowherd boys, would steal pots of fresh churned butter with him and eat it with their hands, leaving the evidence in smears on their chins. When Yashoda caught him and demanded he open his mouth to show he hadn't swallowed dirt, she looked inside and saw the entire universe. She saw in his mouth the sky, the earth, the mountains, the oceans, the wind, fire, moon and stars, the mind and the senses. She saw herself. She saw Vrindavan. She forgot. She was made to forget. Her mind was returned to the ordinary perception of a mother looking at her son. Because this is the part of the divine mystery. Krishna wanted to be loved as a child, not worshipped from a distance. Loved with butter-stained hands and an exasperated mother tying him to a mortar stone. The Yamuna held a terror. Kalia, a massive many-headed serpent whose venom had poisoned an entire stretch of the river. Fish died. Birds that flew too low fell from the sky. The cowherds would not approach that bend in the river. Krishna naturally jumped straight in. He subdued the serpent not by killing it, but by dancing on its heads. Each hood bent in submission under Krishna's feet until Kalia acknowledged the divine and pleaded for mercy. Krishna relented. He simply asked Kalia to leave, to take his family to the ocean, where he would not harm anyone. The river flowed clean again, and on Kalia's hood, they say, are still the impressions of Krishna's feet. But of all his acts in Vrindavan, none captures his philosophy more completely than the lifting of the Govardhan hill. The cowherds of Vrindavan traditionally offered a grand festival to Indra, king of the gods, asking for rain and protection. Krishna interrupted. He said, "Why do you worship Indra? He gives rain as a part of the natural order. Worship the hill that feeds your cattle. Worship the forest that shelters you. Worship Govardhan." Indra, enraged at being denied worship, sent catastrophic storms down the Vrindavan for 7 days. Rains so violent that the earth trembled, and Krishna, a young cowherd boy, reached down, slipped his little finger under Govardhan hill and lifted it, like an umbrella. An entire mountain balanced on one finger for 7 days and nights, while every person and every cow in Vrindavan sheltered beneath it. Indra relented. He came down from his heavens, humbled and acknowledged what he now understood. This was no ordinary cowherd, and in that moment, Vrindavan, this small forest settlement, had become the center of the universe. And then there was the music, the flute. On the autumn nights, when the moon was full and the Kadamba trees were in flower, Krishna would play his flute on the banks of the Yamuna. And the gopis, the cowherd women, would come, drawn by something beyond explanation, leaving everything, coming to dance. The Ras Leela, the divine dance, is perhaps the most debated, most mystically interpreted episode in all of Krishna's stories. On the surface, a joyful, spontaneous dance under the autumn moon. At its depths, according to commentators from Shankaracharya to Vallabhacharya to the Sufi mystics who saw in it their souls dance with the divine. It is the ultimate symbol of the relationship between the individual soul and the Supreme. Krishna multiplied himself so each gopis danced with him alone, so that no one felt forgotten. Childhood, even a divine one, must end. The summons came from Mathura in the form of Akrura, a noble messenger sent by Kansa, ostensibly to invite Krishna and Balram to a wrestling tournament. In reality, it was a trap. Kansa has ordered his wrestlers to kill the brothers in the arena in front of the city. The departure from Vrindavan is one of the most heartbreaking passages in the Bhagavad Puran. The gopis, who had known Krishna all his life, lined on the road. Yashoda, who understood on some level that the boy she had raised was returning to a destiny she could not follow him into, did not stop him. She simply looked at him and he looked back. He never truly left Vrindavan. His flute still plays there. The gopis still say, in the sound of the Yamuna at dusk. In Mathura, the trap unfolded exactly as Kansa had planned, and failed exactly as the prophecy had foretold. The great wrestler Chanura came for Krishna, Mastika came for Balram, and the two brothers without weapons, without armor, facing professional killers in a royal arena, fought and won. Kansa rose from his throne in fury, and Krishna, still a teenager by most reckonings, leapt across the single arena in a single bound, seized him, hurled him to the ground, and ended it. The tyrant who had killed 6 of his siblings before they could draw breath, who had imprisoned his parents for years, who had sent demons after him since his first day of life. It was over in a moment. And then Krishna walked to the prison where Devaki and Vasudev still sat in their chains. The parents who had never held him, who had sacrificed everything, who had watched their other children die. He freed them. He touched their feet in obscenence. And they say, knowing who he truly was, having seen him in his divine form at his birth, were for a moment almost too reverent to hold him. But he didn't let them remain in distance. He made them hold him. He reminded them that in his life they were his mother and his father, and that was more than enough. The philosopher king, the divine child, the thief of butter and the butter of hearts. He was a son first. This was just the first chapter of Krishna's extraordinary story. Ahead lies Kurukshetra, the Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters that changed the philosophical history of the world, the founding of Dwarka, the Mahabharata. If you want me to continue this journey, let me know in the comments. And if you've made it this far, tell me which chapter moved you the most. Till then, Jai Shri Krishna.